Today is May 22nd, 2019. I'm going to do a quick garden review. I think Sunday we had 1.75 inches of rain, and then yesterday we got 4.25 inches of rain. So that's been in the last week we've had 6 inches of rain here, and then before that we had 10 inches of rain, in the previous 10 days or something like that. So I guess in the last 3 weeks we've had 16 inches of rain here, and we've had temperatures ranging from 40 degrees up to in the high 80s. So quite a spectrum of temperatures and weather. Now today is almost at least temperature wise is pretty much perfect. We have a little bit of breeze. The temperature isn't, 78. So it's a very nice, very beautiful weather today. This is like a perfect spring day. So let's get going here. I just wanted to give you a weather update. Oh, I'm also going to, yesterday I went out and took some photos of during the rain of my backyard, of the stream that was forming. So I'll try and put a little bit of that clip in here just to let you know. Also, I had so much rain that my sump pump was coming on finally. Well, not finally, I don't want it to come on, but I would have flooded my basement if the sump pump doesn't come on. So I'm very happy that was working properly. So it looks like my cucumbers are finally coming up. I planted these, it says, in March the 12th. So now this has been inside the greenhouse this whole time. I was almost thinking they weren't going to come up. And other cucumbers. So it looks like I'm going to have a lot of cucumbers. I've also had some cucumbers I'll show you that I planted out. They're starting to pop up. Cucumbers and cantaloupe and watermelon. So, well, not that one. Now, last week, I think I may have showed you, I had about 20 different things of basil that I potted up. Can you see all of those? Well, most of them died. So, but that's how come I do 20. But I still have a handful. I have these still going. So I'm going to have basil, Lord willing. And I have some other ones outside that are going, that are doing better. Cantaloupe. I usually had this covered, but they weren't popping. So these are mostly tomatoes I planted here in April. This is before I started digging up all my volunteer tomatoes. I was thinking I wasn't going to have tomatoes as many as I wanted. Look at that. Some more cucumbers coming up, popping. And that's now I actually planted out a couple of cucumbers. So it looks like, and then these are watermelon here. Well, cantaloupe, it says, but watermelon. So I've got some watermelon ready to plant out, and I think cucumbers. So those will actually I could plant them out today. Well, we'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see what happens. So I have been mowing the front yard and part of the backyard today, because I think we're going to get more rain. In fact, if you look up, can you see that? It's been a clear day. I was telling you how it was a perfect day. Well, now that's not looking so perfect. So my neighbor was telling me we're supposed to get rain. Now I'm starting to believe him. Not that I don't believe him. He's always correct, pretty much. Now looky here. Mint. Awesome. Now look at that. That lettuce. This is actually great lettuce. That's really good. I don't know why this leaf lettuce, well, It's awful dense, but still, it should be taller. Look at my thyme. Now I understand you can use some of that in red beans and rice. So I'm going to get some of that for cooking here in the next couple days. So I've been watching YouTube videos on how to cook red beans and rice. So I've got some ideas. We'll see how that all turns out. So now again, this spearmint here, I nabbed for my nephew, and I've been using a lot of it. It's really awesome. So the onions are looking good. And we're getting, look at this. Now I'm pretty sure those are cucumbers. And again, one of them may be cantaloupe. So I've had trouble growing. Last year I didn't get any cantaloupe. And in fact, the last 2 years, no cantaloupe. And then the last couple of years, my cucumbers have been minimum. I mean, disaster. So if it looks like I'm going a little bit overboard, as you can see, the red cabbage is looking awesome. And the volunteer corn, well, it was all came up in one spot and I spread it out. But that's pretty awesome for me. You see the 2-liter containers. That's a soda container. I just cut off the top and bottom and put it around my, I'm pretty sure those are cucumbers. But it's supposed to protect it from getting eaten by some bugs. So what will happen, Lord willing, is they'll grow over and then it won't be on the ground so much. And maybe, Lord willing, I'll get lots of cucumbers. And I don't mind sharing my cucumbers. And I did the same here. These are some cucumbers I actually started inside and brought them out. I think these are straight 8-inch cucumbers. And you can see I took a milk carton around this one. And when you water it, you water it so that at least how I'm watering it, so that you get 3 inches of, you fill it up with water, and then the water will go down with a little bit of time. But maybe that'll kill any bugs that get in there. Anyway, that's my hope. So that's how I'm watering those when I water them. I haven't had to water, well, these I was watering last week because it was so hot. You wouldn't know that. And then it was so cold, I was thinking I needed to almost turn on the heat, I didn't. I just put on another sweater. Now, I don't know why these watermelon look so pitiful in there. That is, and I planted all kinds of seed in there, and it's just, that's kind of disheartening. Now, corn, I was going to add some more corn, replant some of this seed with corn, I forgot. And I will, maybe I'll do that today. So, I've got some of the corn coming up, but obviously half of it didn't. And that seed there was bought this year. So these are my peas. Now yesterday during the rain I came out and I did some raking of my maple seeds, and, the helicopter seeds. In fact, you can see them there. But every day I've been taking out about 5 gallons of weeds and maple seeds out of my garden. I mean, I have seriously lots and lots of stuff. But I planted more peas. I finally got out here and planted peas. Now, I think I planted 2 or 3 different varieties actually. Now, what has been growing is the melting mammoth peas. That's what I planted out here. But since so much of it didn't come up, I replanted. But look, how do you like that? Can you see that? It's a beautiful flower. So I should be getting a few peas here pretty quick. You can see the potatoes. Now those potatoes were all put in on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. And that's my standard planting of potatoes day. That's a good good day, tree number to plant potatoes. Of course, you can plant them any time of the year. Well, you can't plant potatoes outside in the winter, of course. You'd have to plant them inside in a bucket. But look, now these flowers is mustard. So, but the potatoes are getting knocked down a bit, or are getting so long they're going sideways. Maybe that's it. Now, when the potatoes start flowering, then you should start to have at least a few potatoes you can pick if you wanted. And then when they dry out, you know you can pick them. So my tomatoes are starting to look big. And of course the peach tree look awesome. And some more flowers on. I showed you these last week that there was flowers out here. And now look, can you see this? That's a pod. So I actually have a pea. It's still a little bit young to be picking, but that's formed over the last week. Now can you see the peas along the fence here? Now that was kind of a second thought, to plant peas along my fence. That wasn't initially what I was going to do, but I'm so glad I did. So now they're going to. So my main peas, I was trying to grow up in the middle, and then I had extra peas, and I started planting them along the fence, and that's looking really good. Now you can see here. Here's another cucumber. It's either cucumber or cantaloupe, but I'm putting a little plastic, either a gallon milk jug, cut bottom and top around them, or of course I've only done that with one. But as I drink up the milk, I'll have milk jugs. I've been using all of my milk jugs up in the garden. So this is kind of how things are looking. And now I'm going to go out front. Oh, here, we can show you. I mean, we've had rain. Now I did finally empty out all of my maple seeds into the backyard, into a spot. I'm going to try and, I guess, compost them. But now this is actually full of water. This is rainwater that filled up in my buckets. So I put them in that container. Just you can dip into it and get your water real quick. That's rainwater. So that's a small, I don't know, 15-gallon, 20-gallon container, but it's full of rainwater, and it is water that I caught in the front here, just in some of these containers. So you can see. Anyway, these are marigolds, cabbages, tomatoes. Some of it needs to be planted up. Some of it needs more sun, it looks like. So I did plant up what looks like that tomato there. So we'll see. And you can see these nasturtium. Can you see those leaves? So I did get some of my nasturtium to grow. I mean, I really planted a lot of seeds everywhere, so I could get a lot more. We'll see. So I just brought these out because in the afternoon there's more sun out here, because look, I've got that huge tree there. Can you see them? That's a maple tree. That's one of the reasons I have so many seeds everywhere. But in the afternoon, out further in my driveway, we still have some sun. So I brought these out to maybe get a little more sun, since peppers, cantaloupe, and more peppers, these probably need to be potted up. So I was going to try and dig this over my mustard and use it as a green fertilizer, and I came out the other day And I think my peach tree roots are all in here. I was having trouble getting it to dig up easily. So I may have to move this. I mean, that may become all roots from that tree is what I'm trying to get at. Anyway, such is life. So again, the grapevine, a bit out of control. The onions, I guess with all the rain and cold weather, they haven't grown so much. Oh, look at this tomato. Now this is a volunteer, this one. You see him? But look, that one's starting to look nice. Now, I had transplanted a couple of these other tomatoes from other locations, and then the other ones are volunteers. So I have a number of volunteer tomatoes. Now, normally I have this full of tomatoes in cages. I mean, they would look like that one there. I mean, I come out here, at least last year and the last couple of years, but my tomatoes failed me growing, and they just wouldn't come up. So I'm now a bit late on my tomato plant. I mean, I have 12, I think there's 12 nice plants. And then I have the volunteers, and you can see that there's a big difference in size. But who knows, maybe by July they'll catch up with each other in terms of that. Now, along this fence line, I also planted peas. But you can see that pea is coming up. But most of the peas, I guess, I mean, obviously didn't sprout. So they were bad peas, I guess. But some of them did. And again, you have a few peas that are growing, and then down here, at this point right there in the garden, I started in with my pole beans. But look, something is really eating on those pole beans. So, and I don't use chemicals and things. Maybe I should spray it. I'm not sure what's eating it. But look, something really likes my beans. See those leaves? You'll note that most of the seed pods on these, I think they're leeks and onions. But most of the, this is second year, but most of them have been cut off. I came out here and cut them off, and then I put them in my stir fry. Very nice. This is my gas meter plot out front. That almost looks like cantaloupe. I mean, it's a round leaf. So either that's cantaloupe or cucumbers. But I put a cage around it. Now these other ones that are out here, that one there, squash, and another squash or two or three. So it looks like this is where I planted my yellow squash. And then I also threw in one red cabbage. But look, everything wants to come back up in here. I think those are morning glories. Man, morning glories are as bad as mint in terms of trying to get rid of them. I guess just any little piece of root and they regrow. Look, you see that? I mean, I've come out here a couple times and pulled them. And I dug it up once. Well, anyway, it's a little battle. Now, I like that. That's a little sunflower. I thought they'd be a lot taller. But looky here. Now that's that hot mustard, curly mustard. And that's actually very nice to eat. It has a little kick to it. Let's do a quick review of the backyard. You can see the onions have survived the storms somewhat. Kind of knocked over. We've had a lot of rain. In fact, it kind of looks like we may get rain tonight. I mean, it's dark all of a sudden. So I moved I was mowing out here, even though everything was wet. I needed to mow, and I moved that over. That's the benefit of having some wheels on your garden. So I've moved that over a little bit. You can see the one pole bean is starting to climb. That's going to be fun. And I have not been planting out here yet, but I did think I might move these volunteer tomatoes from this patch and move them into one of these, and that's something I should do. So we got some pole beans that are still, I mean, they're not climbing yet, but they're there. What looks nice is the squash. So we got some squash and some potatoes, and of course the grapevine. And then back we had that big flood. Yesterday also had 2 mule deers. They looked, when I came out closer, I didn't have my camera, but they had 2 horns. So they must have been 2-year-olds, but they were pretty good size. So I had 2 of them in my backyard. They were eating my cherry tree leaves, and well, that's what got me out of the house, as I wasn't really happy with them eating the cherry trees. So this is my backyard. We've had a bit over 3 inches of rain in the last, 18 hours. And it's still sprinkling. We should get another day of rain. But already, this is the drainage way in the backyard. So it's, but if you have 3 inches of water everywhere within 24 hours, it has to go somewhere. I haven't quite seen the creek through my neighbor's yards this it makes you want to go float down it, doesn't it? That's mustard growing right there. I have an umbrella. Well, that's my fire pit right there. I think it's safe to have a fire out here. I don't think it's going to go anywhere today. Of course, starting it may be a trouble. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this update. I wanted to send out a shout out to the UK, and I hope they get their total Brexit from the EU. I've been watching Nigel Farage and all of his speeches, and man, he seems like he's going to be the Prime Minister here in a year or so. We'll see. But he definitely has energetic, and the crowds love him.